Hello there, everybody, and welcome to my second match of the Shuffle It tournament this year. I'm playing against LTaco, who I don't believe I've ever played before. So I'm not familiar with their work, but, you know, I'm sure it's beyond reproach. We're going to, let's see, okay. 3, 4. Quite a bit of trashing, pretty draw limited. What's Shy on? Alter? Yeah, it's okay. So Shy lets you do the discard for cards. There's nothing too exciting. I mean, again, there's colonies, so I'm sure the stack of wishing wells will be useful. How much you want to do looting versus just platinum. You need some plus buy, probably besides monkey. A lot of trashing. So thinning is not the issue here. Sailor, I'm not super convinced by the Sailor, actually. You're not getting any. I mean, you're not getting anything on the duration stuff. Like, ever. And it's not, I guess, I don't know. I wonder which one is better at spiking 6. I guess the other question is if you can hit. I do much prefer wishing well here. Removing the states early on is a little more valuable as well because of the potential mint hit later on. I guess I can get behind that. No, this is pretty sad. I was about to say, and you probably can buy a wishing well anyway, but I cannot. So, I don't know that I would take a lurker unless LTaco has picked one up as well. It's not like the lurker stuff is that good. Because you can't, you know, there's nothing super expensive that you want a bunch of copies of. So there's no, it's just not that appealing. On the other hand, I do get the altar if I see the wishing well here. I guess I just get the altar regardless with this sailor here. We both get the sailor turn 3, which is of course very nice. I'm guaranteed altar. I guess the ideal thing is to have both the wishing well and the state in the next hand, so we get to do this state trash and still go up to 6. I don't really know if they're really, maybe they're really thinking about a lurker. Oh, the thing about a second sailor, I mean, I think that's fine here. If you have that. This is fine too. I mean, you'd be a little happier getting the free wish, but this is pretty similar to what I wanted. You can't really mint this hand, unfortunately, and just be super clean, but you can, I could think about, I mean, you can consider shying here and trying to get a mint. I don't know what your odds are. Well, I mean, your odds of getting the mint are basically 100%. That's not true, but they're quite good. But you're not, I mean, I think skipping the altar play is just pretty sad, so. Then the next question is, do we want a wheelwright? Or do we think just getting the wishing wells directly is probably, you know, roughly as fast as that? Which I think is like a fair question. Because obviously this next shuffle, a wishing well is more valuable than a wheelwright. I mean, eventually you might want some of that stuff to feed pickaxes. Not super clear to me. I think we just do the double wishing well and get the other one here. Maybe okay. I wonder if I can toss the altar here and be more or less guaranteed to find it again. I'm really surprised at the use of the shy there, but so, I mean you could just, well, I don't know. That was still a pretty good turn for LTaco. So if I do this, I'll have 6 cards left. I have 3 wishing wells, and then the thing is, again, I would kind of really like to play the altar. 4 wishing wells, so I'm gonna see 2 of these things. I mean, if I just have the coppers left, we get through easy peasy. Otherwise, we are gonna need a wish to succeed. Or like a more blind wish to succeed, I guess. May give us, I mean, if we can get the pickaxe and the mint here, that's gonna be pretty huge. Okay, we do have all the wishing wells, which is something. But I mean, obviously what you want to draw here is actually the estate and the whatever. But I don't think we trash. I don't think it matters. Okay, there's the estate. Oh. These are just all coppers, right? Okay, beautiful. Okay. Guess we're pretty happy to just play the mint from now on. Need to think a little bit about the money for the next hand. If there's some point in saving one of them, but I don't think there is. We're just going to be looking to buy a wishing well. I mean, the other consideration is how long does it take us to get to platinum then? Can pickaxe the sailor. I think the cleanliness is just, I think, too valuable. Essentially, every turn here for a little while, you're going to mint a pickaxe, and then the next turn, you're going to pickaxe that pickaxe, right? And the altar probably just gets shied. Then eventually, maybe you have some other way of feeling things. This is the point where the wheelwright might have been nice, but we probably needed to get the pickaxe here. But that's a point, so that the wheelwright would be pretty good to have in deck here too. Maybe in a turn or two. So now we're just like super overdrawn, but it'll blow up a little bit in a second. We could think about a lurker actually on our turn. I may have gone a little too far on trashing, to be honest. I may have wanted to keep... Doubloons would actually be pretty okay here. Maybe not off the first... Actually, off the first one probably is as good as any time. If it's like... the order doesn't matter a whole lot if it goes doubloons into... buy into doubloons, whatever, but so my worry here is that I'm a little too clean, but I also don't really know exactly what I was supposed to. We can top deck the altar, which is nice, I guess. Chalice is like the worst for sure. But okay. We don't really have any other... doubloons would have actually ruled, because then you could do double pickaxe the next turn, but... I guess we can also... Lurker Sailor. Yeah, Lurker's pretty good, actually. Wishes for pickaxe and finds it. That's a bummer. The chalice sucked so much. I wonder if they're just into it. I'm not sure they'll really miss colony just because of the influx of platinum, you know? At least not for a while. I mean, they do have way more like stoppy cards, but it's not bad by any means, and the treasure density here is super high. And they're never really going to have the draw to make the double colony all that feasible anyway. So they also get to top deck altar probably most turns using the sextant. So I can kind of do it if I overdraw and do a wish, depending on the spot, but they can also just do a sextant. So they're basically playing with 6-card hands with really high treasure density, and so this is going to be a little tough because I can't colony this turn. They do build a little bit. I don't know the wheelwright. Okay, well they're coming back, which maybe gives me... These are not bad. I think they're probably still ahead, but I actually think kind of just greening right then would have put more awkward pressure on me. I don't know for sure, but it would be pretty great if a well, whatever. It's just more wells. The sailors, okay, the sailor was not on top, so we don't get to leave the altar. We could lose the altar though. That's not clearly good to me. We can see what the first... Oh my god. Okay. I guess we're playing coppers versus platinum. You kind of hate to lose the altar though. I don't have as good of an ability to guarantee it's on top as they do. I can get it back. Oh, good insignia. Wow. Just what I was looking for. The wheelwright isn't that great because you don't have... There's only one more wishing well. So it doesn't matter. Man, that is something. I'm gonna super lose here, but we'll see. My deck is still like okay. It's just that I'm like turns behind. Is this a stopped hand? If this is a stopped hand, maybe we have a little bit of... Although like mint platinum gain like this is... I could... Okay, dud. Quote, you know. Big air quotes, dud. They don't hit 11 though, so that's actually kind of nice. And this is, yeah, there's not like a million great things to do here. They didn't really press their advantage the way I would have. Doesn't mean it was wrong, but Crystal Ball is interesting. They have the like the sextant. They can do some stuff with Crystal Ball, but also it's like It's not, I mean, it's bad on the draw, it's bad on the wishing well. I mean, it still just adds $1 to whatever thing on top. It might let you play a platinum earlier because of the mint sextant thing, so that's okay. But not necessarily mind-blowing. We have 2 wishing wells in here, and a lot of the stop cards are pickaxes, so I guess I'll name pickaxes. We have a pickaxe, an insignia, another wishing well, and I don't know, maybe 2 pickaxes. Yeah. 2 pickaxes. Okay, so now it's pickaxe, insignia, and well. So we'll just pick one of these. It doesn't hugely matter. I'm just gonna trash it, so I don't think it even matters if I'm getting altar or whatever. They're never gonna like be able to wheelwright, gain a lurker, play the lurker on that turn. Well, I say that they might be able to, but it's not like super likely. Sword, now sword. Now sword I can sort of get into. Now we're maybe talking about maybe we're talking now. Do I think they're ever gonna double colony? Probably not. I don't mind being first mover on the colonies. They're the only ones with the platinum to have like sort of realistic shot at doing that. But I don't know that they have the draw with the sword and all that, you know. I don't really want another lurker. The wheelwright's pretty bad. I do think they missed their window here. Look at that little Jules wishing well synergy. Powerful. The sword. How do they get that? I guess that may be their most numerous thing, or at least, I mean, yeah, it could be tied at like 2 or 3 or whatever. So it's not crazy. And 4 into puzzle box is a bit of an upgrade, for sure. They may actually shoot if they have crystal ball into platinum. They actually will double already this very turn after I said it wasn't likely. Oh no, it's the puzzle box. Okay. They should have saved something with the puzzle box, I think, but you could have saved a platinum. I think saving platinum there would be better than buying one. But I don't know. This is gonna be a funny one because we're gonna get real junky, which is actually probably gonna favor them. They're gonna be a little more likely to be able to double province, I think, than I ever will be. What do we do? Wells, I guess. I mean, okay, that was kind of sad, but ooh, now I can get the spell scroll, which is fun. Well, we know there's a pickaxe on top. What is their hand that they're discarding platinum? What kind of monstrous thing am I competing with? Crystal ball, or spell scroll and a crystal ball into pickaxe the insignia doesn't really get us enough. That's just 10. I don't know what other things are helpful particularly. Well, it's not 10 actually, is it? It is 11 because the pickaxe has money. We might get another sword. So the spell scroll, the crystal ball gives money and the pickaxe gives money. And we're guaranteed to get a 3-banger. Because I already have both endless chalices. I don't know that hammer is any good though. Hammer is probably a little bit worse than insignia. But there were a few that would have been, like figurehead would have been quite nice, and a second sword would have been okay. And a lot of them would have just been kind of neutral with respect to insignia. Doubloon's probably a little better. Last cards are Wishing Well and Mint. More wheelwright seems quite bad. Maybe neutral. I mean, their wells aren't so likely to win anyway. How many platinum do they have? They get shield. Get puzzle box shield. Not here. Did they trash the sextant? No, it's the... Okay. Is spell scroll even good to have in the deck? Probably. It's also altar is not crazy. My wells are like... The action part of my well situation is better, but making these wishes now part is just very bad. I guess it's got to be like colony actually. We should be able to hit whatever here anyway, but I actually don't know now if I have that many pickaxes. There might still be 2. Maybe that should have been a wishing well. Okay. This next hand probably has a colony in it, which is fine. But except that I would like to get... I don't know that we're ever going to have thread on double colony. What are my things left? There's like a hammer, there's sailor. Sailor would be kind of good to pull out. I was lucky. Okay, we have the hammer. What is there? There's a... Oh, there's a crystal ball. Okay. Guess we'll take that. What do we think here? I think you just play the sailor and maybe hope you have a little more threat to spike stuff. And maybe you lose the mint now. Sword. Get sworded. What's the last? Doubloons. Really would like figurehead if I could get it. Do I want to gain a card here? Oh, I can chain. Ooh, I can chain the sailors. Never mind. Sign me up. We're not at... $12. No. We have some threat on double colony next turn, though. I mean, it'll be kind of fake, but... Getting less fake. Getting pretty extremely less fake, actually. Which is cool, I'm all about it. I complain about the hammer. I got so lucky on wishes this turn, it was stupid. And this is a good hand. I'm sure they'll have I'm sure they'll have a colony buy. I mean, double province should be super easy. Colony province might be possible, though that's not safe. But like colony province with maybe like an estate or two thrown in could be good. I don't think I had like an estate pile out or anything like that on my last turn. They may just end up double provincing. They double province and they're at 42. Oh, they go colony province. Okay. So we got 10 bucks coming in just off rip here. So we need to find 12. Let's go fishing. I mean, I should stop if we just have it at any point. But, so pickaxe is 3. We can pickaxe well here. 3, 6, 8, 9, 10. We're at 10 right now. I guess the good news is we can pickaxe a colony if we happen to get to one. Right, this is still lurker for monkey. Pickaxe is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the well is 10. Still in a bad spot. Real sword. Okay, that changes the math. That should win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, I did not expect to win that. I do think taking colony there was pretty bad for LTaco. I got quite lucky on the wishes on my second last turn. Like, that was way better than I should have gotten on average. By a long shot, actually. I do think they kind of messed their lead up, but I may have been overestimating what their deck could do or underestimating what my deck could do from the position of like totally clean versus not totally clean. But I don't know. I don't think the angle I think they essentially wasted like at least one turn completely with the buys. The wheelwright was terrible. Okay, what do we have here? There's collection, research. There's a lot of stuff here. I think he just opened Magpie Shanty, so it wouldn't be like crazy to do some other stuff. This is gonna be probably a little bit better of a wheelwright board. The goal is to like have more of the magpies and then also to trash later and then to have some collections. Pretty much it. Buy the vassals and stuff. I wouldn't be mad at somebody opening research over magpie. I do think Shantytown is pretty great here in the opening, though it'll get a little less great with vassals later on. But as long as you're like kind of close on the action stuff, it should still be pretty good. You should still have mostly control to make the single Shantytown a lab. I don't think that should be a big issue. Hmm. 5-2 is pretty bad, and market is not the card you want to get the collection for sure. I mean, the market isn't doing anything special, and the collection is doing at least like there you would make the same buy and get a point. And sure, you wouldn't cycle one, but you don't care too much about that. This is not an unreasonable pilgrimage spot here. We're not hitting the It's okay. I was gonna say we're not hitting the magpie stuff, but really it's fine. If we had hit the research there, that would have been pretty huge. Maybe we just do magpie pilgrimage. I would kind of like a shot at getting... It would be kind of nice to get a shot at, or do a mountain village or something, but... Mint would be so good on this board. Mint would be incredible. Come on, yes. Yes. That was super good. I almost think I'd take a research, though maybe it's just vassal. Maybe it's just vassal. We're also gonna get a lot of points here. Do I just take the last two magpies? This one's pretty much over. They're actually, I mean, I hated the market buy, but other than that, I haven't seen anything really questionable. They just fell way behind. Like the 5-2 is bad. The 4-3 is way better, and but also I think they make a bad buy on the 5-2, which won't help. Yeah, I mean they can pilgrimage and market research. Haha. Do market research and collection. But it's big point gap. And also, apparently my magpies are just gonna draw every single treasure perfectly. We could probably just flip now and not worry about trying to activate Shantytown, because we got so much extra. I don't know if I'd go pilgrimage now. I would need like a market. Eight-2 magpies is just not. That's not feasible. I think the Necromancer is pretty good for them. Or was like a probably right buy. Do I want pilgrimage, or do I, at this point, do I just shift to just buying the stuff straight up? Until the let's say I don't actually know if I want a fourth collection until the scores are a little closer. It's not like critical that I play 4 collections next turn, but maybe he's good. This turn was boosted right a little bit because there was a research, double magpie research. I mean, it's kind of hard to pass up on the vassals for all that money, but we'll try this. This may not pan out so well because we had good hits and we had the research coming in there. Okay. Yeah, this is where this changes a little bit. We did get to enough for the pilgrimage to be pretty good. We didn't get enough collections. I maybe should have done a big research set aside. How much money? Yeah. Maybe if we had drawn another collection, but to do it with this is not... Actually, it's probably better though. I'm gonna see if they... Buying the collections is really bad. Like, I'm clearly just gonna empty these. Well, maybe not empty, but... Well, maybe it's okay. I don't know. Guess I don't have $21. Oh, I don't have like a lot less than $21. They do pilgrimage. Oh, I still don't have the buys. I guess you get Shantytown maybe over research there. Okay. I couldn't empty, but I could take almost all the vassals and then a lot of the points. Okay. Okay, there's Page. That's pretty important. for the old, a lot of terminal draw. I don't think rebuild's gonna survive the eventual. I mean, I guess you could do page into rebuild, but then at that point you might as well do the good payload stuff. I guess you probably take silver page. You could, well, nah, I don't know. There's not a lot that's better. So I mean, you could take C chart or Sauna maybe with the page, but how does this pan out if I do? I can buy it, but I would be in debt. But would I care? But also, why would I buy it now? I mean, I guess they could like go. Well, they're not gonna tax. They played 4, so they just have enough anyway, right, to do whatever. I could take a C chart, I guess, if I thought that was better than buying the silver here. I'm not really sure of. The other thing would be to take the Sauna, I guess, which isn't gonna work out right. That still leaves me a little bit of debt, which is probably not worth it. And they have 3, so this doesn't matter. So the debt stuff didn't end up really mattering. Guess I'd do Wharf here. You could do Longship or Seer. That wouldn't be crazy. Seer would like especially not be crazy. I don't know that it's... our page misses, okay. They also take a Seer. So... yeah, the Seers aren't too crazy buys. I don't know if you take Sauna at some point, just more Seer. I think that's fine. That's sad. That's super sad. You do want to trash. Sauna is now a card. Okay, Sauna now is a card that you can do the things with. I think you could band it. Though to be fair, the bands don't really have other targets and they don't play well with the Seers, so that's not so encouraging. The advantage here would just be not to yank the tax off of it, I guess, and preserve. I don't know, why would you want to play it as page or C chart? Maybe C chart, but like who cares? They moved the Sauna, but I'm not going to be able to afford it because that was all my money. The last 2 cards are estates because that's what happened to me. I don't know if you flip twice. Probably not. I don't really think it's like worth to take the debt. The 5s are good for me. I didn't think it was worth it to buy a C chart and take the debt, though maybe it would have worked out fine. I'm just gonna be so far behind on the warrior stuff. that it's going to be a real problem. And they are, oof. This flip will actually be good. Oh no, they just do one. I was going to say if it was, well, it's still good. Actually, it does help me trigger this shuffle. So that's good. They're getting close to where the, like, wharf is good. They could honestly think about doing a torturer because I don't know that I'm going to get the defense up in time. So to be fair, it'd take a little bit of time before they play. I would probably just do the wharf. You can do one more seer here and wait until after you play the hero to buy the wharf. That's not crazy. This deck should mostly play itself from this point on for LTaco. I didn't ever think about taking Bass at any point, which I think with Seer, taking the little pages has got to be better than the 2 points at this stage, but Take it Wharf. I think that's totally fine. We're gonna hit Sana, no silvers, yeah. This is where my, well, they're gonna play the hero maybe. I don't know if they have in hand. They must have, they're gonna hit my warrior. They must have warrior. Well, they don't must have anything. We get a good chance at least to play the warrior, though unfortunately we are also pretty good chance to trigger a shuffle. And no saunas. If we hit the saunas, well, the saunas were gone, so I don't think the tax really matters. I have to play the warrior there, but obviously this is like a nightmare shuffle. I would have bought a page if I were them. I don't think the tax was very likely to hurt me, and then the page still helps them. So I don't particularly like these choices or that choice from LTaco, but it's very small at this point. But I wouldn't have done it. I may be, again, there may have been an argument for me to take the Seer over the Wharf there. Still, might have made more sense, but this is just going to be nothing again. The Sana, I don't know what's left. Coppers in the States, no trash. To get another Seer. I mean, at this point, when you're flipping the champion, I am pretty inclined to do terminals and not. Not the Seer, but it's not crazy. The Seer is still a good drawer, so hopefully they just drew the champion, but you know, probably doesn't matter. Depending on what you want to do here, I would have probably favorably trashed Coppers over Estates, but I don't know what's in hand yet, so. But there's definitely an argument to be made for trashing the Coppers first. Well, they took the bath points by taxing, which I guess is something, but I would have trashed over Page, but Hey, we had to trash something. Like on here, I'm gonna buy a 5. I'm gonna trash the estate and buy a 5, but there's some point where we'll want to move the page up, but it's not now. No, they had a okay. That's a wrap. They had to have drawn the champion dead, and which I don't even know if that was possible. They may have known the Seer was protecting that, or at least no, they drew quite a few cards beyond the Seer, so it was possible. But yeah, that was like that's like super game over. Super duper ooper game over. I mean, I'll watch a couple more turns of buys from LTaco, but if they're kind of headed in a reasonable direction. This is the point where it's very, very trivial for LTaco to add both draw and money and buy just all together. And it just compounds. Like this should, you gotta buy Wharf here. Maybe even double Wharf. I mean, double Wharf actually pretty easily. Double Wharf page. And then you're just, okay, livery is also fine. It's not like, I think you can just stick with the Wharfs also, but the liveries are fine. You get a little bit out of like doing the gold. That's kind of cute. If you take a hero, they didn't take a hero, so that's not actually coming down the line, but whoops. I don't know that there's actually even like deck stacking possibilities that could get me the win at this point. That seems even far-fetched. Like, I don't think you can actually make their draws bad enough. And mine good enough. I just don't think that's in there. I would have probably taken a hero if I were LTaco. I would have. Well, I guess I have one more warrior. I would have probably moved one of the warriors up into a whatever, a thing. A hero to get the horse and the gold. It's a little better than the. It's like, oh, you're overdrawed anyway. You could have increased money a little bit more here. If it were closer, that would matter, but it doesn't matter. I don't think you were like risky. I mean, I guess what I'm describing maybe is slightly more risky with respect to leg dunning, but the Seer is kind of silly. I don't know, but it's all fine. Of course. Okay, well, I guess I can do this. I really needed to just draw like one, like if this Seer had been a page or Sauna, we would have had a turn, but not a real turn anyway. Not enough of a turn, for sure. Alright. Game 3 to LTaco. What do we got? Plateau Shepherds. No bauble. You check for your baubles. Check for your... No $2 kingdoms, in fact, at all. This is a weird kingdom. Actually, an extremely weird kingdom. So you can't actually do anything. Even though there's some stuff. You just truly cannot actually do anything here. But you will try. Conjure is like key card here. King's Court is actually not that great. Hitting populate is probably quite difficult unless you like really focus on it and it's not clear. It's not clear that that helps you all that much. Depends on what. Maybe it would be like an acceptable populate, but sort of acceptable populate anyway. What does Maelstrom do? Okay. I mean, we could take the crypt right off rip here, though. We are doing the. This is the price point, which is awkward. It's this like 6. I actually wish I didn't hit 6. I wish I had a couple of the estates and just hit 4. But I don't know what to buy. Maybe you just buy the Royal Galley already. The only other thing to even think about for me is like crypt, and maybe gold is kind of weird, but it does do some things here. We could Maelstrom, probably not worth it. Oh. Yeah, this is the problem. If somebody hits this student like with the money, yeah, if you have this hand, like that's so busted. Like it's unbelievably busted. Fortunately, they weren't able to rotate away, but you just conjure. Yeah, this is super over, unfortunately. Unfortunately. The crypt missed, but also the crypt was probably pretty terrible anyway. Now I do have to angle for King's Court because it's the only thing that can kind of make up the I'm not sure about that. Well, that's probably okay. Now, if the student had shifted here and the money letter in the previous turn, that would have been okay. Nah. They might take Royal Galley. This was like so unfortunate. Truly. Big. Here's a question. Should I have Maelstrom instead of King's Courting? Also, when do we potion? This is when the Conjure stuff starts getting out of hand. Now, they didn't get any gladiators, so I don't think. So they don't really have a good way to get to 7. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure any of that was correct, but can't be that bad. We still just like don't draw anything here, which is kind of funny. Oh, good, they get to pretend to think. What a nice feature. On Dominion.games, I sure am glad it exists. Do we want to get the crypt out of the deck for a turn? Excuse me. Pardon me. I kind of wonder if... I don't actually know who has better deck control. Like in general here. This is unfortunate that this was our... That maybe I should have waited, I guess, for the crypt. They still get to just slam the royal galleys in the walled villages. of which I'm very, very jealous. The slamming. It's gonna be... You get to see 3 cards here, which, okay, that's nice. You didn't find one of the Royal Galleys, or the Royal Galley, I guess there's just the one, which sucks. But... they may have a Conjurer. Trying to think. 2 of the Conjurers are set aside, but there is a 3rd one running around somewhere. Okay, the student is definitely not in the hand. You get... you get a fortune? When you populate, you get one? Here's a question. Do we want to trash with the student? This is going to be a lot of golds. If this works the way I believe this works. Yeah. I don't think the order matters too much. All I can hope for now is, oh good, I get to pretend to think. So stupid. Just have to hold the game in somehow. Basically, they did get a gladiator. For some reason, I thought they didn't get a gladiator, but they did. I would have actually gone with probably 2 potions there as LTaco. It's pretty funny. I don't quite have the buy for it all, but we're real close to being able to pile out. The issue is if we add buy, then they have the so like no one can take the other fortune. Not exactly. You can if you can do like populate and buy vineyard, then you probably can do it. Because then they don't. Then they probably don't have that threat. But if you don't draw if you don't draw potion and the fortune, together to do that. It's a little risky. I mean, I'm going to do it here because they have... Oh no, never mind. It probably just loses. But am I winning any other way? That's the other issue. So here's the sit train. We each have 2 buys. They can gain estate, you know, they can just take the estate and do it if they draw. If they don't draw, but they have a King's Court set aside. Here's the problem is they have 2 wall villages and King's Court set aside. And then it's easy. They just gain an estate and double populate. Like if they draw, it's trivial. So I can do like a delaying tactic, but I'm not gonna get a better shot at winning this one than here. I don't think. The only other thing is if you had enough King's Courts to pile out the transmutes. But I don't think even with like liching that I would ever have the draw to do that. But that is the only other angle, right? For like a 3 pile. The other issue is that like they can go like they could still have a decent turn here and get like Vineyard Province or something, Vineyard Double Province, and then you can't even pile out. It doesn't actually work. Oh my. I guess the third 3 pile is the estates, which they can probably just do right now, actually. That's the real actual feasible 3 pile for LTaco is the estates. They already have it in hand. Maybe they won't see it. Yeah. Yeah, that one was tough. Well, it was just the Conjure thing. So I don't think I had a lot of outs. I don't know if I mean, I think getting the gladiators and trying to get to the King's Courts was sort of the only play I had. Clearly it was not enough. I was never gonna have threat on the estates. Yeah, like my only feasible 3 pile would be like T-mutes eventually, but that was gonna be... I don't even know how many King's Courts I would need to have. Because I didn't have like a bunch of walled villages either. Like if I king a lich, I draw everything and then I king T-mute and get there's also not enough treasures in deck at this point either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, never mind. I didn't even have, there are 8 T-mutes left. I didn't even have a way to do that really. Maybe if I conjure for them. King gives me 5. So 3. Yeah, that probably is enough. The overdraw might be a little wonky, but certainly close to enough. I guess duchies. Well, I didn't have enough I guess if you can get T-mutes and then you could do the King's Courts stuff to do duchies also. But those were my only 3 pile angles. Whereas they're always going to have the estates pretty easy. Province wouldn't have helped me there. Yeah, there just wasn't anything. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 11, 15, 16. We're at like 6-point vineyards. They're probably actually not super far beyond that, but probably a little bit. Okay, I do have an urchin board. Another pickaxe board. I think you just open Urchin. I actually think that's more important than like the clash control here. Though I wouldn't be like super mad at somebody, I guess, who did battle plan Urchin. Oh, I really dislike that. I hope they get punished for it in some fashion, but I really don't like that. That's just like that just considerably ups the likelihood of your opponent activating an Urchin here. And it doesn't help your activations all that much. They get a charm already, which I think is a little strange, but I don't like the charm either at all. But it's okay. I mean, it'll find... There's certainly things to do with the charm. I'm gonna need to probably save the horse. Unless... Well, probably just period. So hopefully it's bottom deck, but... We'll definitely go with the 3rd Urchin here. Yeah. If we don't get collision through this shuffle, we're gonna be in trouble. They've also drawn the Old Witch at the top of every shuffle, so that's also really cool. If they have the charm here, probably it's super over. I still think the bargain is not correct, but if you're like second player and they've already shuffled, like maybe I should have done the bargain. I don't know. Right, and then we draw the battle plan. Okay, great. We cannot. We have to trigger this, don't we? And hope we just find the mercenary right off there, or the urchin or whatever, and we get another one. I'm not actually clear on what thing I want on top here. Oh, reveal the old witch. Oh, they don't have it. Okay. That's something. I'm gonna trash estates over curses at the start here, but this unfortunately didn't draw the urchin to activate, so unless it's top deck, there's an urchin in here. That's nice. That actually is pretty huge. Okay, we did think about our 5 a little bit here. Or if we even want one, right? We may want to just take a ghost town. I want charms eventually. I think we got to focus on the cleanliness for now. That's sad. I wonder if they have an order here. Like, if you have Urchin, you should play that first. I'm not sure that I'll actually be able to make up the gain disparity here. Oh, I don't like this. You don't need the old witch has got to be wrong, to be honest, but since I'm not attacking here, it probably still just wins. We bottom deck 2 of the mercenaries. I assume the battle plan was drawn at the bottom here. I could try and rotate on them. I don't know if that's good or not, but I have 2, so I could in theory try to rotate past it completely. That's not super likely. Will Warlord even really help me? Right now, nobody has any Warlord issues. So it's just the value of the Warlord itself. I think we'll just leave it. I'm still not sure on the curses, right? How many of this do we have? 2 estates, 2 curses. We got a good chance of flipping another Guess you just trash them. Now, I don't know if you trigger the shuffle. Not clear on how big exactly it is. It's gotta have 5. It's got Awe Curse, 5 coppers. Battle plan. There's a ghost town. That's about as good a draw as... Actually, this is great. There's still Urchin. Well, maybe not. But there's a battle plan. We're going to see a little bit extra here. I need to get a charm myself. We're gonna get to see a little bit in the next shuffle, but probably not enough to help us out. I think I would have likely... I mean, what they have is all fine. Their buys have really been okay. I didn't like the bargain, but whatever. It's just going to be a little tough here to catch. If we activate on the first shuffle with the horse in there, then I think we have a real shot, but... It was too slow and they played the old witch too many times at the start. Which I guess is point in favor of the bargain. They're still quite a bit behind on trashing, though not really that far, and they're doing groundskeeper's not the gain there, but it's just not time for it yet. Okay. Well, this is kind of a bummer because, well, there's no mystery about why it's a bummer. I don't think anybody is confused about why I would think this is a bummer. I don't know. I gotta have enough money to... They did do the order good there. So good for them. They need to up the payload, actually. I mean, the way they're doing this, like if they do Warlord Groundskeeper again, that's just like 2 turns where you've pretty badly underplayed your gains. Like if I were charming here, I would charm pickaxe. I would do both. And try to up the payload a little bit here, because you're very clean. Yeah, okay, you got 2, then I would do, like, you could do Warlord Charm Pickaxe. They don't like the Groundskeeper. Double War, no. No, I hate that. They'll probably still win. But it's such an underplay of what you have in terms of ramping up the payload. The Warlords don't hit that hard. You don't need consistency. You just drew your deck. You just trash 2 cards. You're going to do fine. Then you just played the Warlord. You just don't need 2 of them. The Warlord attack isn't that powerful here anyway, because the village is a night card, and the draw is spread across so many other cards or possibly across so many other cards it doesn't matter. And the Warlords are basically just like nice draw here, but you're already drawing deck. This is such a sad sequence. This is just such an unbelievably sad sequence. And maybe I should have rotated the Warlord. I mean, they can always get back to him, right? That's not hard for them. But well, that sucked. We somehow have done pretty bad on battle plans despite, you know, a decent density of that. Maybe with my hand I should have trashed the curse to the old witch, but just don't know. This is all painful though. Unbelievably painful. I do really hate losing when I feel like they're like, which is a complaint. It doesn't make sense because the early game was fine. I didn't love all of it, but it was fine. And so if you're way ahead, you can play some of this stuff looser, and it's not like they're way off. They're just maybe swap some 5 gains and they would be built up much faster. But what they're doing is totally fine, and even makes sense from some angles. But I'm just gonna die here. There's nothing I can do. I think the last card is a curse. They didn't even have 5. That's a little bit. That would have just another point in favor of the pickaxe, probably. If I'd have perfect turn last turn and I can kind of threaten ramping up the gains, maybe, but probably not. Probably just like way too late. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter, but like, it makes sense. It makes sense. It definitely makes sense. Giving me a horse for an extra 5 has got to be a good trade. This I like a lot. I just think they should have done it like 2 turns ago. What are even the card? How do I have this many cards still? I guess because I've taken 8 curses. Like, what is even left? We need to play this out. I don't think we do. They're gonna do it well enough. That was brutal too. I don't even, again, I don't really feel too terrible about how I played it, but so wall peril. Wall is gonna make this Wall is gonna make this a little bit of a pain. We did not find the Sentinel, unfortunately. Do we flip it here just to make sure it's not totally bottom decked? Or do we roll with it? I don't know. I was gonna say, I don't know why you wouldn't toss 3 if you look at it at all. I'm gonna be so mad if they have the Sentinel. I'm gonna just cry and cry and cry. What do you do here? You can't go huge, huge, huge because of... But Importer should be pretty good still. Just don't know what angle to pursue all this in. I guess I could have tossed more and given myself a shot to hit the 5 here. That would have been quite unlikely though. There is a problem here where the gap between like 3 and 5, 4 and 5 is really big. Capital cities are super important here. Do I want a silver? Probably. I'm not super clear. Like, next turn we would like to buy Capital City. And the turn after that we'd like to buy Importer. Maybe this silver doesn't help. So far we've been pretty mirrored. So they go straight for the Importer. I think you can do... I mean, certainly if I had like drawn and bought Importer and drawn it here, there could have been something to it. You just have a risk of just not, of missing a Sentinel play, which maybe doesn't matter. Not really sure. Right, like here the import, but I mean my silver also doesn't do anything particularly. It's just a question of what they get a second importer already. That's really weird to me. Yeah, I guess there's no reason to. Actually, there was a pretty good reason, but it's way too late now. Yeah, I definitely should have used the last favor there to try and redraw into here. I should have done both, or one of those things for sure. I should have either used the last favor or I should have used the capital city power for sure. That was actually a huge mess up. That was really stupid. Maybe game losing. They're getting a lot of importers, which I think isn't crazy, but I don't know. It's going to take a while to pay off. Maybe they're just going to peril one of them right now. That wouldn't be weird. That would make sense. They get jewels, which isn't a huge deal. We can finish the trashing and buy an importer. This may get a bit hairy. Well, we have the Sentinel anyway, so it doesn't matter. That's the other question is, they're at 10. Do we need to compete on the importers? Or what? We could bury treasure. Does Jules give plus buy? It would have been real great if they had gotten one that doesn't give plus buy. That would have been helpful. Do me. What are the... Why am I fixated on the importers? How many times will I play this guy? Oh, they didn't even play an importer list. What's my angle now? Just province already. If I draw the importer on the first... Not super clear on when I have time to swap Sentinel out. I would probably need to take a buried treasure to do it. There's another kind of thing I could maybe do. I could go to a third importer. I guess. That's the only... Otherwise, I'd kind of need a buried treasure to make it happen, which is possible. You get a capital study. Okay. So, which we could just do it now. This turn could be trash the final coppers. By 5. Next turn would be like Peril Province. I don't know, it's slow. I mean, the buried treasure is slow. If we do the Galleria, it would be like buy importer, peril. Well, but we can't peril this turn. Not reasonably. We get province. Or we could think about provincing. I've got copper importer left. No, copper silver importer left. Province isn't really very realistic for this turn anyway. Do we want to finish it? Probably need 2 5s. We can live with 1 copper anyway. Maybe we'll get goat. Maybe we'll get hammer. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm angling for. It's not like I really want to get to double. This would be 4. I mean, we could... This would be 4. Man, I do not know. I think I'm gonna province here. Maybe it should have been a den. I don't know. I don't know. Two importers seems so ambitious and kind of crazy to me. I don't really get that. But okay. They didn't even buy it. Well, do I have enough money to do this? Prize goat's nice. That's clean. It's just that duchies are worse on a wall board. Maybe this works out for them, I don't know. They still have 2 coppers. Which I assume will maybe get blown up here. I guess they have, well, they don't have enough actions to play the importers. They could province, I'm pretty sure. But they won't. They'll just be sitting. Oh no, they have another capital city. Yeah, they probably province here. Okay. I think the question is, can you get up to double at some turn? And then the question is, which of your tools for doing that are better? The Den of Sin or the Buried Treasure? And you also have to time it correctly. So I'd take 5. It's like if they go to 2, I need to be in a spot where I can double on the, or at least threaten double on the next turn. However that looks. So what's important is if it's at 4 and I'm dropping it to 3, that's when I want to load up on stuff. But for now, well, like the dens are okay now too. I gotta think about this. Okay, well, we didn't get to the buried treasure, but this is actually pretty close to what we want, I think. We have to see how cognizant they are of these issues, but so we're at 13 and they're at 1, 2, 3, 7, 12. Why are they thinner than me? I guess because I've just added 2 cards to my deck. I know I just caught the trashing here, so I guess maybe I just have an extra province and they have importer rather than a capital city. Something like that. How is spell scroll here? Do they really not even have 8? This is not gonna pan out, I don't think, if they don't province here. And they're like gaining, I mean, they have a lot of duchy power, but the duchy power is like bad. I mean, not bad, but you know, it's not super good. So it's kind of the same thing, right? If I can threaten double next time, then I'm probably just okay. Like if I get to 5 provinces, that's probably just good enough here. Duchies are much worse at coming back. 2 duchies is less points than 1 province. At this point, they're at 15. They're not gonna like pretty much they might get 1 more trash in somewhere, but so I need to be able to double next turn. So I guess the question is which of buried treasure or Den of Sin is like better for that. Also, if I have, well, I'm not gonna have 13 here. 23, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, that's not really realistic. I guess it's not miles and miles away, but I mean, I could get the Den of Sin now, which I mean, what's left? There's a capital city, 2 provinces, and a silver. So I can see 2 of those things. Maybe I can get to 13. Like if we play capital city, if we play capital city, and can we play Galleria, and then we play the other capital city. I don't know if we can do it and play the importer, though I guess that's also a consideration for dropping. So if we go right, if we discard on the first one, though then you're not guaranteed to get around. No, maybe that's the way to do it. You want to play a capital city that draws 1 card. Ideally. I gotta think about this. Maybe it's okay if you find this guy first. You can trade $1 for a card, but I don't know. If you can make that card worth enough. This should be not so hard to figure out, but capital city, kind of hard to think through stuff being in the discard, but it really shouldn't be impossible. You want to play gallery in any case, or well, it's whether or not you do this is not clear. That would be the same. I think you just end up a buck short. Maybe there's like some chance of getting through if you do it this way. I don't know. You can put 5 cards in there. I think it still just ends. This is a way to do it, but you might miss the importer, I think. But maybe that's worth. Oh, it's not even. I wonder if they'll let me. I didn't count. Whatever, I just messed it up. It's fine. I don't know how much it'll muck me up, but possibly quite a lot. Yeah, like a huge amount. like a massive, huge amount. Like, why am I such an idiot? Why did I play that way? Although then I would have triggered with the provinces too. Like, it was just stupid. I just didn't count. I thought I could get the dollar and I didn't do it correctly. And now I don't have the capital cities, but that's on me. It's just so unfortunate. I deserve to lose. I just can't deal with whatever. And I also spent a million minutes thinking about it too, and I still just completely messed it up. So it's just really bad. And I can probably province both turns, to be honest. Still, it's just, they're just kind of slowly getting a little closer. Here's a question. Do I take the importer play so that I have... Man, that was so bad. Because basically we could exchange we still probably province both turns. Honestly, because the loot and the silver are down there and we're going to have probably a big enough hand. Oh, that was stupid. Just even being able to have played, I could have done the province plus import play and not triggered Nightmare Shuffle and not... Oh gosh, I'm so stupid. They're not doubling, I don't really think. Maybe it's possible, but it seems really unlikely. So I'm going to go to 23. They're going to go to something, but... What are my odds of provincing on the next turn? Because that's the more important thing. I mean, if they can double, we're just screwed anyway. Okay. They just got one buried treasure down. That's not so scary. We should probably not. We should probably trigger without these. Is province okay? For me, if I get a prize goat trash as well, they have the one importer. The spell scroll is gone. I can trash a silver while playing. Can try to get even to the other buried treasure. Didn't get there. What is this? So this will go to 28. They can do 29 because I'm going to trash a card with prize goat. Then they would have to get 9 points. They would have to province double duchy, which they can get the... What's the odds of them getting to 13? They have a lot of importers. It's kind of scary. The other option is just to double duchy myself. I can leave a silver on top. There may have been a play to have a goat on top. This is enough money. This should just effectively be FVP. Unless they can double. There's no way to curse. You can remove I mean, you can trash stuff, but they don't actually have a trasher in their deck at the moment, and I do. So there's like not $16 in the deck, is there? There's just not. Not in 5 cards. I mean, I guess you only need 13 and 5 cards, but I guess that's technically possible. If they have both the Gallerias and all that right now. I mean, if they have it, they have it. They just have jewels and 2 Gallerias though, right? I'm either being super slow rolled or is still an actual out. My take is that I'm probably just being super slow rolled. Yeah, you have to buy the province. You need both of them to win. I do get the 4th player here. No trashing. Not a lot to do, actually. Not a lot to do here. Probably enough with crop rotation stables APO to build with gladiator to fortune stuff, but that's about all you can do. And it's not even like, it's not obvious that it'll be fast enough versus something that goes that greens a little more quickly. I guess in any case, like gladiator stables at least is gonna be even in like the less built up deck. It's just kind of a question of whether you think the potion is worth it here. Without the plus buy, it is kind of a hard sell. If there was some cheap plus buy, you could probably make the argument. But with this, it is a little difficult. To push for that over stables. I mean, to do it, to like just open the potion, even though it could be good. So I guess for me, the question is whether you want fisherman or whether you want silver. So you have to decide now if you want the fisherman. There's kind of a nice, I mean, the 3/4 is pretty nice. I don't have it, but you can do berry. You can open fisherman and then bury the fisherman by gladiator. That's not an option for me, but it's pretty good. So we'll see if they have. I'm gonna assume they didn't have it, but they either fast clicked or just didn't have it, one or the other. Crop rotation's a little better than stables if you can hit it. I have everything here. There's no reason to super overthink this, but they also may just have the 6 anyway. No, so they're going to take stables as well. I'm going to bury a stables and then take a silver. It's unfortunate. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Alright. Deep breaths. There may be the case that the landing party is a little better than silver here. Silver should be okay-ish though. I mean, like, realistically, what are you waiting for here? I do get to pop. They didn't draw the other stables, but they're going to be able to do, like, I'm going to get to bury stables and do crop rotation, which is nice. They are just kind of running ahead on the stables, though I think like a 4-6 is still doable here. Okay, the crop rotation whiffs. Unsurprisingly. Okay, this is nice. They whiff here. I don't know why that button's up, but okay. Nothing to do here, but just buy the stables. They're ahead 1 stables, but don't have crop rotation yet, so. I don't even know, like, to whose advantage the first reveal is, because I can let it go down 1 here. They have a bunch of money anyway. And since I have the silver, I do get to do Urchin first. And I will have the money for it. Is that worth it? I don't know. This is an okay shuffle to be running into as well, because we've got stables and stuff, so. Now, if we don't find any of these stables, then we'll be super sad, but. They're going to be able to take it now. Oh no, they missed 7. Okay. Well, here's a window where some stuff could go our way. It's nice enough draw here. Didn't happen. Sure didn't happen, but it could have. Okay. They didn't get crop rotation there at least. We have all the blocks. Not that that probably matters, but it's like, you know, a debt. This is actually, I'm not sure I crop rotation here. I already have 10, right? So we might as well just take the double stables before the shuffle. It's got to be a little better. In fact, we can bury one of them. Oh, they have another fisherman. Okay. Okay. So I don't think we trigger. We can just reveal one of gold or fortune. It doesn't even affect anything really. Whether they hit or not. Guess we could province. Please don't find stables. No. So they're gonna probably get, yeah. Bummer. That's a bummer. They get cleaned up on the debt right turn after. The trigger shuffle, I guess that's probably not a huge deal. Maybe, I mean, and if you didn't have the fortune yet, you have to do it. But, you know. I guess you can double already. Unfortunately, they get exactly enough to do that. You can also, like, fortune stables here, I think. You have a real shot of dudding on this next hand. I mean, it depends a little bit on, I mean, they know if they have an estate in there or not, but, well, I guess you can do this. Yeah, that's probably fine. They province, okay. This is stables, you know, copper, whatever. There's not even an estate. So we're just hosed. We're just straight up hosed. There's more shuffles. There's more shuffles. It's just going to be a tough one. More shuffles. A lot more shuffles. Nobody's going to be clean here ever. Okay. In fact, this is almost certainly just going to be a nightmare ending for somebody. Because what else could it be? If I double, By double, they can't double. Not safely. I mean, they can do it. I think there's already an estate down in here, though. We can also check with Barry here. It doesn't matter. Well, I guess Barry forces you to put one down, so maybe not. So when did I shuffle? This was after a shuffle. And then I drew. So there are estates down in here. I mean, you just got to put the fear in them, right? Give yourself, maybe you draw double again. And just win. They had to toss gold, so now they probably still have enough, but and they found the gold. Oh, that didn't really matter too much at that point. I mean, if you're LTaco, you just bury his stables and buy a province. I mean, you might lose, but what else can you possibly even do here? I guess you could province duchy. Honestly, I'm probably not going anywhere on my turn, though. Maybe I get really lucky. Duchy stables, buried stables is okay. It's not. And it still loses to double province. Like, for sure. Pretty much everything loses to double province, so you have to think about what the other things. I guess you have to think about what the other things maybe lose to. Here, if they're buying a green card, they might prefer green card than stables on top, though I'm not actually sure that's correct at all. But it's not crazy. Since you drawing into, I mean, the green card only helps you if it's in your hand at the start of turn, and the other things, you know, the stables you can draw into and it'd still be valuable. So it's not crazy to bury that instead. And it's the same net cards, so it's probably a little better actually to do the green card on top. Boom. We're just believing in the heart of the cards now. That's all we can do. We didn't have too many super control. Well, okay. I'm trying to think. Like the Sentinel one was the most controlled one by far. I'm pretty sure. I didn't even remember the first couple games I won. I quit updating the scoreboard at some point. They had, yeah, I don't remember the first couple games I won at all. I lost that old witch urchin thing, and I lost the champion thing, which I don't know. And then I guess they might be thinking about double province with a, because I have to hit, I mean, I still have to find the fortune. It's kind of a question of what's the likelihood of me finding the fortune at all versus me finding the fortune with a double. Because if they go double and they top deck a province here, maybe I just can't match it and they win the next turn. That's a real possibility. Though the 4 coppers are a problem. They're like a real issue. Because even with the crop rotation, you still just see a couple more cards. I don't know if they had to trigger the shuffle. But I didn't count anything. They didn't have the gold, so maybe they just thought the money would be way too low. So they surely still would have had like 16. I'm not sure. There might be, I mean, there might be. No, the green was already out. These have to be coppers. I think. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, isn't it? You know. Okay, so they're going with that. This is very promising. In fact, this is just it, isn't it? I mean, we got to play the fisherman first, but 1, 2, 3. They can't have a stables there, right? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. There cannot be a stables. I mean, we know what the cards are. It's 4 coppers and a province. They never got a silver. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, I need to buy. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm so lucky. Stupid game. Stupid game. They were still in a rough spot, but actually. I almost just stopped there thinking I could just do it. I was very lucky there. So, well played by LTaco. I would have been probably salty if I'd lost, but they played the games well, so it would have been unfair of me to have done that. But I made it through, skin of my teeth. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all for my next match.